First of all, as we always start out about disclosure, as an MD surgeon, I have no conflict. But among my cattlemen friends, they would be ashamed of me if I didn't take advantage of this opportunity to tell you all that our next sale is April the 5th, 2018, at 12 o'clock noon, with lunch served before. Online bidding is available. Catalogs are available at Superior Productions there, and the phone number to get your catalog is also listed, so have to take that opportunity. One of the things when I finish this, I hope you will think about is that this quote here, that most everything you hear about a cowboy is true, but the important thing is they take care of the cows. And if you don't take care of the cows, then you're probably not going to enjoy being a cattleman. So that's something that we've been doing at our place for a long time, at least as a Hereford operation since 1952. But I guess that I came by being involved in cattlemen, as a cattleman from the Genome Project, really, directly. Both of my grandfathers were cattlemen. My dad was a cattleman, although he had another job as well as a business manager. This is a picture of my paternal grandfather, and so I didn't have a whole lot of choice about that from my genetic profile. Now, one of my uncles had given me a war bond when he got out of World War II, $50 war bond, and when I was 5, I bought a horse, old Polly. I never had a bicycle. I'm not complaining about that, by the way. If I had to go to the grocery store, I only lived 1.5 miles from the grocery store, and I'd ride the horse to town to get things from my mother. But by the time I got to be 9, I was beginning to think, I really need to start doing something about these cattle. So when I was 9, my dad took me to the banker. We sat down. I was a shy person, still am shy, frankly. Sat down across from the head of the bank and mortgaged old Polly to borrow $500 to buy 2 steers that I would then feed out, show, sell, collect the money from that. And this is that steer, old Ricky, showing him. It was kind of cold that day, and I'm sorry that picture doesn't project very well, but there weren't very many cameras around at that time. Sold Ricky and his partner. Took the money, paid off my loan, borrowed $1,500, and bought 5 steers. So I've been in the cattle business personally since age 9. Fast forward ahead, and there's a lot of pictures in between. This is age 13 here with the champion steer in our local show and the reserve champion in the regional show. And this is the champion steer in the Knoxville show, which was a great big show. The Regis restaurant, for any of you that I see there are a lot of gray heads in there. If you've been to Knoxville years ago, the Regis restaurant was the Byrne Steakhouse of Knoxville for many years. They bought this steer in the sale and had him in their parking lot for a week after the show to demonstrate the kind of animal your steaks came from. And then fast forward again, a lot of pictures in between, but this is the National Western Stock Show in Denver in 1994, and this is Shiloh. And Shiloh was the grand champion Hereford bull at National Western in 94 there. That's me with that sort of white hat in the center. Found him as a yearling the year before and bought him along with some other people, and then he came back and win this. And you're going to hear a lot from David about thoroughbreds, but in the Hereford cattle business, this is like winning the Kentucky Derby. So it was a big deal at that time, and we turned around the next morning and sold controlling interest in him for a good bit of money to a lady that had oil wells in Oklahoma. I really enjoyed doing this myself, always have, and this is one of Shiloh's sons being shown. At that time, the kids were in college and away, getting their master's degree. I've always enjoyed the grooming aspect of it. Being a surgeon is something that puts you in the capacity to do that. I don't know if you can tell that, but that's a big set of clippers, and you doll these cattle up as best you can to make them look like this. This is a Shiloh son, in 96, winning his division at the North American Livestock Expo up in Louisville. Huge show, great. If you're ever around there, it really is something to go see for many breeds of cattle. And then this is 2002. This is Spot. He's a grandson Spot won every major show in the South and won his class in Denver. Very proud of him. Now again, back to genetics, our children didn't exactly have an even shot at that either. This is son David at age 9 showing his first calf. And fast forward to this picture here, which is the grand champion heifer in the big female show of the year in 1997. And just goes to show you what happens to you when you do these things. I've told people for a long time, I'm pretty sure I know more people in the cattle business than I do in surgery. And I'm blessed to know a lot of people in surgery. And from a lot more different areas of the country. George Furman and I were standing outside, and he introduced me to one of his senior level residents. Asked her where she's from. She said Kansas. And I said, where? And she said, oh, you wouldn't have heard of it. And I said, well, try me. And she said, Hutchinson, Kansas. I said, this picture was taken in Hutchinson, Kansas, right here, where this show occurred, because this was the big national show. And the big deal about that, not only did we have the champion, but, and this picture doesn't project well, our daughter Sarah was showing the reserve champion. That's the first time that had ever happened, and these were calves that had been bred and raised at our place. And we were very proud of him. Now, fast forward with David, he goes off and gets his undergraduate degree in animal science, and then he goes up to Michigan State and gets a reproductive physiology master's degree, but he won't go do anything else except come back and run the farm. And that's what he does there, and that's him showing a heifer that was division champion out in Kansas City a couple years ago. And so he runs the place now. We've moved on. In that regard, this is the premier Hereford breeder, and what that is that when they add up all the points at the end of the National Western in 2016, there were more animals that scored points and added them together than there were for other breeders in the country. For us, that's a big deal, because that's hard to do in the Southeast if you're competing against all those people from Wyoming, Montana, Kansas, and otherwise, so we're really proud of that. And then 2 days ago, this is Above the Law, who is the bull that topped our sale a year ago, November, and that gentleman holding the ribbon there paid a good bit to own half of him. And they always ask, well, which half? Which half? Well, he owns half the semen sales. He owns half interest for possession, and we own the rest. But the good thing in this show, too, was this is the reserve champion bull, and the same thing, the couple there with David, this was the reserve champion bull. He was, they bought the interest in him. So you might ask, well, what is all this about, you know? The prize money must be great. Well, no, it's not. I can tell you that this is the Dixie National in Jackson, Mississippi, by the way. That's the biggest show in the Southeast. We might have gotten enough prize money to pay for the diesel fuel one way down there. But these people buying these animals is what made the difference in that occurring. And so that's the economics of how you do this, because we sure don't have deep enough pockets to support that unless there's a way for it to pay off. But even that's not the case. If you come to one of our sales, most people who are coming there, they're not buying something to show. This is why they're looking to buy something. And that's to put beef on your plate as an end product of an agricultural endeavor that puts food on your plate in America. And I know a lot of people talk about that, but I just have to tell you, in the roughly 2,000 acres that we rent or own, we have about maybe 250 acres that could be put in corn, soybeans, or some other vegetable product on a yearly basis without it washing away. The rest of that land has to have grass growing on it, or it'll wash away in our part of the country. And if it washed away, then you have real problems with erosion and so forth, obviously. And a cow is about the only thing that can efficiently convert that grass to something that we can consume as an agricultural product. And Tim and Dr. Adams, thank you very much. This is not a very good picture, but it is the plate from yesterday's luncheon at the membership meeting, and thank you very much. And it was extremely well done, by the way. The hotel needs to be complimented. So then on that side of it, this is how things really run in our place. What we do is sell bulls. Bulls breed cows. Cows have calves. Those calves grow into something else. This is a field of cows here. We run about 450 cows at any one point, so if y'all have a calf, then you got a pretty good number of livestock walking around. And those calves then, when we raise them, we need to sell them. And so they grow up to be bulls like this. This is a set of bulls out in the field. These, maybe you can see these a little better. These are behind our house, by the way, again, and I can walk out and look at them pretty much any time of the year as they grow from little ones to big ones. And this is a set of heifers here. And all of these are going to be in our sale. This is just a picture of, I say you got to take care of them. That's a set of cows. That's a couple of herd bulls there that breed. But this is the end point for us. This is the cover for our sale that we had in November up here. And I'm going to have some for any of you that might be interested just to see what it looked like, and we can get you one for up and coming sales. But in that sale in November, there's one bull and there's another one. We've got them with horns, we've got them without horns, so that you've got a lot to pick from. 91 bulls went through that sale individually. They're all about this size, and they're ready to go out and breed cows to raise calves to put that steak on your plate, because these are breeding stock, okay? This is our sale. We built our own sale barn, so we literally have it on our place itself. We have 3 sales a year there. These are the pens where people can walk through the cattle and look at them. If you can see those little guys on the fence there, that's 4 of our grandchildren looking at them. And sometimes you run into people there that you know in your other world as a doctor. Y'all may recognize Ron Jones there in the middle. Ron's a longtime chief of surgery out at Baylor in Dallas. He has a fairly sizable cattle operation in western Arkansas and bought 6 bulls in the November sale. Now, on the other hand, sometimes things cross, and the other gentleman there came up and said, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. I said, when did I meet you? And he said, well, I applied for a residency at your place 30 years ago, and you didn't take me. But he bought a bull anyway, so we were proud of that. We use this facility to have field days and things like that for education. Universities and education programs, 4-H Club, FFA, things like that, use our facility for those things. This is just an example of what some of the catalog's going to look like for the April 5th sale, in that these are mostly females, although we'll sell a group of bulls as well. This is just one of these dolled up heifer calves. There's a couple more of them, just as an example from last April's sale. A few things you learn along the way as you do this and dealing with people. I want to be a surgeon among surgeons and a cattleman among cattlemen, as compared to what you see there at the bottom. You don't want to be a surgeon among cattlemen and a cattleman among surgeons, because your level of recognition may not be that great. Not very many people come to see me for an operation because I'm a cattleman, if ever. I think the other thing about being in the cattle business and ranching and farming is that you have to understand a lot about yourself. I realized a long time ago that I lived to work, even as a young boy. I was not a couch potato, never wanted to be, as opposed to working to live. And if you want to work to live, there's nothing wrong with that, but don't get into cattle business, because it isn't going to work out very well for you, because there's a lot of work to do. And it's one of those things where you can, though, leave a legacy along, and you can carry things from generation to generation. This is our family last spring, after our spring sale, and everybody in that picture is in some way or other involved in our cattle operation, and we're proud of that. We start them out young at our place. This is grandson Nolan, who escaped from his grandmother during a diaper change. And you can see that he's going down there looking through that barbed wire fence to check things out. And that's not enough. He wants to get over there. She caught him just before he got through that fence. So with that, I will stop. I do have catalogs, and I thank you very much for your attention. It's a pleasure to be here.